You come home from a hard day's work to relax and de-stress. But wait, you were so far in debt you can't even buy a decent recliner to relax on because of the terrifying credit score. And guess what? Your phone is ringing off the hook from debt collectors because they want their money. This is all because of one little piece of plastic, a credit card. Irresponsible use of credit cards can lead to all kinds of problems. Millions of people deal with debt every day. I will explain practical information to help make responsible choices when using credit cards. I have my own credit card that I've had to learn to use responsibly. In addition, my parents have used credit cards their entire life and have taught me many lessons about being responsible. The irresponsible use of credit cards can create a personal financial crisis, but with appropriate planning, credit cards can be a tool to build financial well-being. First, I'll talk about the problems credit cards create and how they can ruin your credit and life. Second, I will talk about the reasons people still use credit cards for purchases. And third, I will explain ways to make practical choices when using credit cards and different options the consumer has when using them. Millions of people use credit cards every day. They're also creating debt for themselves when they use these cards. People still seem to misuse credit cards on a daily basis because of the instant gratification and I want it now attitude in America. Due to the misuse of credit cards, people are living more stressful lives, have ruined credit, are filing bankruptcy, and cannot take care of the necessities they need. Credit card debt results when the client of a credit card company purchases an item through a service through the card system. Over time, debt accumulates and increases via interest and penalties when the consumer does not pay the company for the money he or she spent in full at the end of the month. Credit card debt affects not only people in the United States of America, but all around the world. The amount of credit card debt is astronomical. Credit card debt causes extremely bad credit scores which affect buying expensive things like cars or homes. This can put people in quite a predicament when they need to make a purchase on a house or car for their family. Credit scores are based on the amount of debt an individual has along with how well they have been able to pay the debt back on their time. This credit score is used by lenders in order to make decisions on who will lend money in order to make big purchases. Too much debt can damage relationships with people around you. Financial problems is one of the leading causes of divorce. Overextending one's obligations by maxing our credit cards will intensify financial problems with causes of high levels of stress. Now that I've talked about how credit cards can cause negative effects, I will talk about the reasons people still use credit cards. Credit cards have become a convenience to people because it's a way to do things, instant gratification. Credit card companies make it enticing to people to open credit card accounts and use them. Credit card companies often dangle promotions such as free items, t-shirts, beach towels, airline miles, reward points, and instant rebates in order for a person to apply for the credit card. America lives in a world of instant gratification. We want something and we want it now, so we charge it. Most Americans typically do not save for purchases. They use credit cards to get it as soon as they want. Some people believe that they have no other option than to use credit cards due to low incomes and no savings accounts. Many people do not have any education with how credit cards work, so they're sucked in by promotions and never see the minimum payments of high interest rates will eventually trap them in cycling debt that is really hard to overcome. Now that we have discussed reasons people still use credit cards, let's look at ways credit cards can be helpful financial tools in your life. Credit cards can actually be a great way to build your credit score and put a person on the road to financial success and a great credit rating. Know your limits. The first mistake of credit card trouble is zapping the credit card after purchase with no accountability when the bill comes at the end of the month. The first piece of advice that any financial advisor will give to a person is set a budget and live by it. This takes discipline when it's something that is not taught or practiced by most. Credit cards should be paid in full each month. The only exception would be the period of no interest, as long as the credit card is paid for before the terms end, and the no interest limit is because during this no interest period, interest is accumulating and will be charged at the end of the time limit. Watch the gimmicks. Do not get caught up in the gimmicks of credit card companies. Free merchandise at a baseball game or 1,000 airline miles may mean much if you get yourself caught up with a high credit card bill that cannot be paid when it comes due. Plan ahead. If you need to make a big purchase, ticket item like a refrigerator, you do not have time to save for it, then plan ahead. Set aside an amount to pay for the credit card for the refrigerator and stick to the plan, just like a car payment. This will help to ensure that you are prepared for the payment when it comes, and you will be able to handle it with much more ease. Be content and patient. This is probably the hardest of all for us to do, but the most beneficial. Learn to live within your limits and be content with what you have. If you want a big ticket item, then plan and save for it. Once you have the money, go buy it. It is amazing how much money you will save without paying high interest rates from a credit card. Those savings from interest can turn into purchases for other things you desire later on. Watch your credit score grow. Through practical steps like mentioned above, your credit score will flourish and you will have all kinds of buying power to make purchases when you need them. This leads to financial independence and a much less stressful life. My parents have set perimeters for myself in how to manage all credit card purchases. By paying their credit card bills on time and setting limits, my parents have good credit scores that have allowed them to purchase homes, cars, and many other things. Start now. There's no time like the present to start saving and preparing for your future. If you have found yourself in credit card trouble, seek credit counseling. Credit counseling is often provided free from many agencies. These experts can provide plans and support to get you on the right track. It is never too late to start doing the right thing. The irresponsible use of credit cards can create a personal financial crisis, but with appropriate planning, credit cards can be a tool to build financial wealth. Due to instant gratification of many Americans in today's society, many people have found themselves in major credit card debt. People want to live in the here and now with no regard to saving for big purchases. There is a lack of financial planning in households, and living by a budget seems to be an obsolete, which leads to financial crisis in many cases. With the slick gimmicks of credit card companies, many consumers get caught in the credit card trap before they even realize what happened. All of this, coupled with a lack of financial education, is sure to head toward a disaster of bad credit and added stress. With a few disciplined approaches, credit cards can actually build a good credit score and help people to be able to purchase anything they choose. Financial planning is a must. People must know their limits. Live by a budget and save for your purchases. These steps are sure to build a successful life of good credit and less stress and more purchasing power. You got this. There is no time like now to start building credit. As young individuals, the world is at our fingertips. We need to be mindful of what good credit can do for us and how bad credit can ruin us. Before we know it, it'll be time to purchase a car, then a house. We want the power to be able to do these things for ourselves and our families. Pay attention to our consumer habits, be content, and make smart choices.